We have recently seen this Clippers team become very, very good. I mean, between Kawhi Leonard, Paul George, James Harden, and Russell Westbrook, it was simply expected that this team would be scorching hot. And they were. Going 33 and 25 so far this season and securing fourth in the Western Conference is very impressive. But this all just changed. And it changed because tonight, Russell Westbrook fractured his hand. This means that he is out for the foreseeable future, and he might even be out come playoff time. This is a huge blow to the LA Clippers, and in this video, I'm going to break down how this one little injury might have just changed the course of an entire franchise. Let's hop right into it. But before all that, let me just play the clip that he fractured his hand on, because this looks pretty scary for the LA Clippers. As you can see, he is on defense guarding Jordan Poole, where he reaches for the ball behind and immediately stops and grabs his hand. He then fidgets with it for a bit, and the camera shoots to him playing with his hand. And now here is where it gets really interesting. Now, here he's just outside, and then he grabs his hand, looks at it, and the Clippers call a timeout for him to go on the bench. Now, this angle is replayed, and you can see that is a bad swipe. So, basically, that's the play where it happened. And, I mean, if you're a guy like me, you're obviously going to hope for the best for these players, and it doesn't look too horrible for Russell Westbrook. But at the same time, breaking your hand is a lengthy process, and it might possibly take him several months to get back to the game. Now, I definitely don't hope that that is the case, but less than a month will surprise me, which means he'll only be back come playoff time. This loss is pretty big for the Clippers because Russell Westbrook is currently having a potential sixth man of the year season. He's played in 57 games, which is just one less than the Clippers have played, making his attendance rate a whopping 99%. He's averaging 11 points per game, along with 5.5 rebounds, 4.5 assists, and a steal and a half. Additionally, his assist-to-turnover ratio is 2.2, which is much better than in past years of his career, where he's been lacking in that. Additionally, he is a great plus-minus for this team, and he's shooting pretty efficiently from the field, and that is 45%. In his past few games, the more minutes he's played, the more games they win. Because the game against the Thunder that they played last Thursday, he only played 16 minutes and they lost. But then when they played the Grizzlies on Friday, they won with Russ playing 23 minutes. Now, tonight he was also playing really well, shooting 2 of 3 from the field and knocking down both of the free throws that he took in the abysmal 10 minutes that he played. Honestly, he's had not the best season, but undoubtedly a good season. He has been the gel that keeps this Clippers team together and keeping them on top of the Pacific roster. Now, of course, you also have to acknowledge the other pieces on this team because you, of course, have Kawhi, PG, James Harden, Ivica Zubac, and Norman Powell, who are all phenomenal players. But Russell Westbrook is the gel that keeps this team together. He is the hustler, and he seems to be the locker room energy. Yes, Kawhi's averaging 24, 6.2, 3.7, and having one of the best defensive seasons in his entire career. But that doesn't change from the fact that last season, Russell Westbrook kind of carried them in the playoffs when both Kawhi and Paul George were injured. In fact, if y'all don't remember, he single-handedly took the Phoenix Suns team to 7, which is very, very impressive. Currently, the Clippers are the 4th seed, but 3.5 games back from the 1st seed, which isn't that much. However, they're also only 6 games back from completely dropping out of the playoffs. And this does make you worried because the Clippers before tonight were on a 2-game losing streak, and in their last 10, they're only 5-5. Meanwhile, the teams towards the top and the bottom are heating up. The T-Wolves, Thunder, Nuggets, and Suns are all 7-3 in their last 10, and you have the Warriors clawing up, being 8-2, Mavericks and Lakers being 7-3, and the Clippers are really the only one with a losing record up here. This is worrying because they just lost one of their better players, and although Russ might not be like prime Russ anymore, he's still a really good player, and people are going to hate on me for saying that, but it's just the facts. It is just the facts. This team is also pretty good at home, being 20-8, but this honestly isn't really good compared to the elite teams in the Western Conference who all have 24 wins at home. Now, away is what is saving them, which is why that not all hope is lost. If the Clippers do theoretically make the playoffs, which is very likely to happen, but make it as a lower seed, which is also more likely to happen at this point with losing some of their star players, then they will not have home court advantage for the first game of the series and the seventh game of the series. And that is very, very worrying because, of course, you want to be able to close out the series strong, take that final win, and go home with your chip. They won't be able to do this if they don't have the home court advantage. And frankly, I don't know if it'll be possible for them to win. People like Kawhi, Paul George, Terrence Mann, and Norman Powell will all have to step up in this period. Zubac is currently averaging 9.5 rebounds, but he might have to average around 13 to keep up the production of Russell Westbrook. And he also has to step up his offensive rebounding game because Russ was averaging 2 offensive rebounds while Zubac only 3. Additionally, one of the main things that Russell Westbrook brought to this team was his 1.1 steals per game. And 1.1 steals is basically equivalent to 3 points on a fast break. Take away those 3 points, and the Clippers would have lost multiple very close games because, yes, they've had those close games this season. Frankly, it's not looking good for them. I just don't love it because Russell Westbrook, as I've been saying this entire video, great player, generational talent, and even though he has taken a nosedive off a cliff recently, he's still that generational talent that he once was. He is one of the best sixth men in the league, if not the best one, maybe behind Malik Monk and a few other players. But honestly, this loss is huge. Tell me what you guys think about it, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.